Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Blood Talk. Today we are going to be discussing Rhiannon Frater's Pretty When She Dies trilogy. Yeah, let's just do the trilogy. Screw it. So this series was a very fun urban fantasy series. The first book came out in 2008. I reviewed it in 2015. In 2000. No, when did I review this? I reviewed it in 2015 on Goodreads, and that's the review I'm going off of. It wasn't a very long one, but I remember reading the series when she sent them to me, signed, which was awesome for her. I have the third book, which is what I could find after searching forever, because I moved from New York to Georgia, and I need to find all my books, and everything's just all over the place still, and we haven't even furnished everything. But yeah, this is the third book in the series, Pretty When She Destroys. So Pretty When She Dies was the beginning of the whole adventure for Amalia, our college resident in, I think it's set in Texas because that's where the author is from. And she wakes up from a man-made grave as a vampire, and she goes on a bloody rampage. As far as I remember, she goes on a bloody rampage. And she wants to find the person who made her into what he is. He's a very powerful vampire who's also a necromancer, so there's vampire and necromancer things in there as well. There's a colorful cast of characters. There's the hardened, sexy love interest, Cian. I think I'm saying his name right, Cian. It was I remember it being a very good series. It was just it was very graphic in terms of sexual content, and then you had the blood. These are vampires, as you can see from this cover. These are vampires that do not shy away from blood. She's blood all over her hands. I believe she is a part of the goth scene in Texas. The actual characters is a part of the goth scene in Texas, because in one of the books they do go to a goth club, I think at the end of the series after they kill the big bad, and there is some sexual content in the bathroom in that one. And I remember that explicitly because it's funny that I read these so long ago with no thought for that scene, and now I remember it all the time because I frequent goth clubs all the time. And now I know that goth clubs exist, and that's an actual thing that people go to, and it's a really cool thing to do if you love the music and you're a part of it and everything. But yeah, this scene was really good. There's a bunch of Spanish characters in these books, which I thought was great. This was my first introduction to chorizo. One of the characters in these books makes chorizo, and I was I asked Rhiannon about it because me and Rhiannon are friends. I love her. Me and Rhiannon are friends, and I was what's chorizo? And she was it's this great breakfast sausage that Mexicans use, and I was I need to try it. So I made it with my eggs one day, and I was hooked. This is a nice bookmark I was sent as well, signed. This was years ago. We had the same publisher, and we started to talk because we both write vampires, and it just blossomed from there, our friendship. But yeah, again, amazing urban fantasy books. If you are a fan of vampires, if you are a fan of vampires who bite, if you are a fan of blood and sex and urban fantasies and paranormal romances, and if you are a fan of vampire and necromancer lore, actual lore, you will love this series. It is available. I'll have all the links below to where it's available, but I know it's on her site, and I believe you can get it signed from her. She'll sign it for you if you get it from her website or her Etsy. I'm not sure if she's still doing that, but I'll check. But yeah, this is a fantastic series. I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to spoil it, because unlike my Monster Thoughts videos, I'm not doing analysis on these, and I'm not going to do a full in-depth review, because unlike movies, books are something that take a longer time to read. You can watch a movie in 2 hours. You can read a book if you're reading a book in 2 hours, I question the length of the book and the content of the book. But if you're really reading a book, I feel it should at least take a full day, and that's a long time. And I don't want to spoil the contents of the book just so I can make a video about it. I would prefer you to just know the ins, just be aware of the book and make your own decision as to whether this is enough for you to want to read it, rather than me just jumping on and saying, hey, this is everything that happens, there's no point for you to read it, because I feel like a big plot point for these books is like figuring out what happens for yourself and being surprised or not surprised, or however it goes for you. But this series was really good. There's like vampires and demons and witches, and I think Amalia has like special powers outside of just being a vampire now. She can see into the future. She has this gift, you know, all the great things that we love about urban fantasy romances. I highly recommend this book. This is a really quick review of the entire ish series. I might do a more in-depth review if I'm gonna reread these, and I'll do a more in-depth review of each book if I can find the other copies. But I think I have them on Kindle, so that's fine. But yeah, so this was Pretty When She Dies, Pretty When She Kills, and Pretty When She Destroys by Rhiannon Frater. Yeah. It's available now through Rhiannon Frater. You can get it at rhiannonfrater.com. Please check out her other work. I'll do a review of another book by her that I love, Dead Spots, which I will do a more in-depth review on that book, because that book is intense and that deserves more talk about the plot because of the topics that she brings up in the book, and it really hit home for me. So I feel like I'll do a more in-depth, more serious review of Dead Spots. But for now, this was a super quick review of the Pretty When She Dies trilogy by Rhiannon Frater. Please check it out if you love urban fantasy, and I'll see you guys next time for the next video. Bye.